Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chev Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirye Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So today, continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Answers by citing the Lord's version, text number 31 onwards. So far Brahmaji prayed to Krishna, and now Krishna or Vishnu is ready to speak. Shri Bhagwan Vacha Jnanam Param Guhyam Me Yad Vijnana Samanvitam Sarasyam Tad Angam Cha Grihan Gaditam Maya. The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. Lord Brahma is the topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe, and therefore the personality of Godhead. A reply to his four principal inquiries in four important statements, which are known as the original Bhagavatam in four verses. These were Brahma's questions. First, what are the forms of the Lord, both in the matter and in transcendence? Second, how are the different energies of the Lord working? Third, how does the Lord play with his different energies? Four, how may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? So four questions Brahmaji asked basically, and these four questions will be answered by Krishna in the following verses. The prelude to the answers is this verse under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him, the supreme absolute truth, as it is stated in the revealed scriptures, is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the Lord. So this is very important for us to understand. Knowledge about Krishna can only be understood by the mercy of the Lord, and he gives his mercy, not whimsically, not just by chance somebody can have his mercy. It's by person who is self-realized, and he gets it by the mercy of the Lord. It's not that one is self-realized and will definitely have the knowledge about Krishna. There's no way possible. So self-realization means he has to perform his austerities, he has to get his purification, he has to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, so many other requirements, and then he can expect the mercy of the Lord to get the knowledge of the Lord. The Lord says that Brahma may take the answers as he explains them. This means that transcendental knowledge of this absolute supreme being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. By the mental speculation of the greatest mundane thinkers, the absolute truth cannot be understood. So again and again, this theme repeats itself, that absolute truth, the knowledge of the absolute spiritual being, absolute truth, absolute supreme being, cannot be known by anybody except devotees. And whether it is great thinkers, mental speculators, who think, oh, God could be like this, God could be like that. How can he do this? Like so many people are now talking about. How can Ram build a bridge? Lord Ram can float millions of planets in the air. So what's so difficult about him? For him to float few rocks in the ocean. What's a big deal? And also the yogis, they try to meditate on the Lord. They think they know the Lord, but they also don't know the Lord. So this is what Prabhupada is writing. The absolute truth just cannot be understood. The knowledge of the transcendence is beyond the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Thus, it is called the supreme confidential wisdom. Out of many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said by the Lord Himself that out of many hundreds of thousands of people, one may try for perfection in human life, and out of many liberated souls, one may know Him as He is. Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of Godhead may be attained by devotional service only by bhakti. Krishna says in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only by bhakti I am to be known. Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of Godhead may be attained by devotional service only. Rahasyam means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita because he found Arjuna to be a devotee and a friend. So Rahasyam means it's very confidential knowledge. One can only give confidential knowledge to a person he can really confide, and to a person who's his friend, who surrendered to him, not to a person who might misunderstand and misuse the confidential knowledge. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Rahasyam Sakomi Bhaktosi Miya Sakha Chayati. So Arjuna, hey Arjuna, I'm giving you this knowledge because you are my friend and my devotee. So that's why this is Rahasyam, means confidential knowledge. It can only be had by a devotee. Without such qualifications, one cannot enter into the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. This mystery is love of Godhead. Otherwise, so only a devotee who is engaged in pure devotional service, the mystery, the rahasya, the confidential nature of love of Godhead cannot be attained. That is way beyond the purview or the limits of these mental speculators. What is love of Godhead? For that, one has to understand who's Godhead, what's his nature like, what's our nature like, what's our relationship, and then working on that relationship with surrender, one can start developing love for that supreme absolute truth. That is love of Godhead. It's not just, okay, I love Krishna, or we wear the t-shirt, oh, I lost my heart in Vrindavan. That doesn't mean one has love. And love of Krishna culminates in service. And just like picture in the background, you can see, of course, it is artificial artist rendering about Radha and Krishna looking at each other, but maybe he got the mercy of Krishna to draw it properly. You can see the love of Krishna in the eyes of Srimati Radharani, and vice versa. So love means service. How Srimati Radharani serves Krishna, and how Krishna in return serves Srimati Radharani. That is real love. Love doesn't mean to exploit, to make somebody a slave, or to take advantage of somebody's emotions. That's not love. That's only exploitation, and that is in the material world. It's actually called lust. Love means to serve, to see somebody happy, more happy than oneself. Just like there is a story in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. No, not in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. I believe in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That once Narad Muni decided to find out who's the topmost devotee of Krishna. So he started going to different people. Or maybe Krishna asked him to find out who's my topmost devotee, you find it out. So he started going to different people. And Krishna had told him, So Krishna had told him to tell his devotees that Krishna has a headache, a severe headache, and that headache can only be mitigated, can only be taken care of, can only be cured if the devotee in question, if the devotee that Narad Muni is talking to, puts the dust of his lotus feet to Narad Muni, and Narad Muni puts that dust of lotus feet of the devotee on the heads of Krishna. So Narad Muni thinking, oh, this is very easy. I know so many devotees of Krishna. So he went all over. He went to Pandavas. Arjun, he said, Arjun, you're such a pure devotee. Arjun refused to give the dust of his lotus feet. He said, if I give you dust of my lotus feet, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, I will go to hell. How can I give my dust? Narad Muni went to the queens of Dwarka. They refused. Then Narad Muni went to Vrindavan. Krishna told him, oh, go to Vrindavan. There are some gopis fetching water from a well outside Vrindavan. You ask them. So Narad Muni went there and he told, as soon as he didn't even finish the sentence. He, he just asked, I want the dust of your lotus feet. Krishna has had headache, and if I put the dust on his forehead, he'll be relieved. Gopis immediately, they said, give us a bucket. How much dust do you want? Take all the dust, as much as you want. Let Krishna be happy. Narad Muni asked, how? What do you mean? If you put dust off your feet on Krishna's head, you will go to hell for eternity. Gopi said, it doesn't matter. Let us, we are more than happy to remain in hell if Krishna's headache is relieved, even for 1 second. That is love. They didn't even worry, they didn't even care for themselves. Of course, it doesn't mean Arjun and Pandavas and other queens of Dwarka, they are not devotees. They were very pure. They fully surrendered. But the level of gopis is way high. And out of all those gopis, Srimati Radharani, we can't even imagine. So this mystery is love of Godhead. Therein lies the main qualification for knowing the mystery of the personality of Godhead. And to attain the stage of transcendental love of Godhead, regulative principles of devotion service must be followed. The regulative principles are called Vidhi Bhakti, or the devotional service of the Lord, and they can be practiced by a neophyte with this present senses. So again, distinction or the details are given in Nectar of Devotion. What is Vedi Bhakti? What is Sadhana Bhakti? In the Sadhana Bhakti, what is Vedi Bhakti? What is Raganuga Bhakti? Then what is Bhav Bhakti? What is Prema Bhakti? All those distinctions are given by Rupa Goswami, very nicely explained. But we always start from Vedi Bhakti. Of course, we start doesn't mean uh, everybody is starting in this lifetime. Somebody must have started previous lifetimes. So everybody's level is different, could be different. So one has to see where one is. But to be on the safe side, we always start with Vedi Bhakti. Even in Raganuga Bhakti, one does not stop following the rules and regulations. He continues to follow, but he already has spontaneous attraction for the rules and regulations. Rules and regulations means what? Getting up early, chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles, hearing, serving, associating. All these are all regulative principles of bhakti. So one in the beginning we have to force, we have to push ourselves to follow these. But towards when we start getting a love, at getting a taste of bhakti, getting a taste of um, the service, then nobody has to tell us that you have to get up early and chant 16 rounds. We chant many more 16 rounds on our own because our chanting pleases Krishna. By reducing our sleep, by reducing our different activities, if we can spend more time in chanting, more time in hearing, more time in associating, more time in service. Because why? Because this pleases Krishna. But when it done in a right mood, when done offenselessly, then that pleases. It very much pleases Krishna. He says, "Oh, this devotee is spending so much time, so much of his energy, forgetting so many material sources of pleasure, discarding so many things that he could be doing in this time. And he is spending time for me." So Krishna becomes pleased by his austerity, by his service, attitude. So obviously he will give us mercy. Krishna is a person. That's a proper again said. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and is full of compassion, full of love. So he becomes compassionate towards that devotee who's spending so much time in service. Of course, Krishna has to purify that devotee, and he has to purify fast. So he sends some impedance as devotion service. He sends some tests. Why? So the person, so the devotee takes more and more shelter of Krishna, Krishna's name, Krishna's service, Krishna Katha, Krishna Puja, Krishna Seva. And when he takes shelter because of what? Purification is getting more and more attracted towards Krishna and getting less and less attracted towards Advaya. So this is a whole process. So from Vaidhi Bhakti, he comes to the stage of Raganuga Bhakti, because by then, of course, when we get to Nectar of Devotion, we will discuss in detail all the characteristics of different stages of Bhakti. And then all the problems are gone in Vaidhi Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti, there cannot be anything that bothers a devotee. And then he just grows further and further, makes more and more advancement. Such regulative principles are mainly based on hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord. And such hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord can be made possible in the association of devotees only. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 main principles for attaining perfection in the devotion service of the Lord. The first is association with devotees, hearing. Second is chanting the glories. Third, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotees. Fourth, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. And fifth, worshiping the deity of the Lord with devotion. So basically, in the association of devotees, what is one going to do? He's not going to go watch movies in the association. He's going to engage himself in hearing. And hearing us what? Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the association, he will chant more and more and more. Fourth, then he'll develop a desire to reside in a holy place connected with the Lord. But any place where the Lord's names are sung and chanted and katha is going on, that place is not different than Vrindavan actually. So chanting the glories of the Lord is chanting of the holy names, and also it means preaching. So wherever one is preaching, that is a place where Krishna is residing. And fifth is worshipping the deity. Worshipping the deity means service. Service is worshipping, cooking, dressing, cleaning, everything that comes in service. So basically, these are the principles of devotional service. Such rules and regulations are parts of devotion service. So, as requested by Lord Brahma, the personality of Godhead, will explain all about the 4 questions put forward by Brahma and others also, which are parts and parcels of the same questions. Means Krishna, he will answer much more than just the 4 questions. Next verse, text 32. यावन अहम यथा भावो यद्रूप गुणकर्मका तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मद अनुगृहात्. All of me, namely my eternal, actual eternal form and my transcendental activity, existence, color, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. See, again, Krishna is explaining here. My actual eternal form, my transcendental existence, activities, color, qualities, Roop, Gun, Nam, Leela, everything will be revealed by my mercy. In fact, this all we sing every morning. Shri Radha, Radhika, Shri Radha Krishna Par, Madhurya, Shri Radhika Madhavayor Para, Madhurya Leela, Guna Rupa Namna. So all these things are hidden within the holy name of Krishna, within the devotion service of Krishna. So we don't have to concentrate or we don't have to um, think of a form of Krishna or the pastimes of Krishna. They will be revealed by when we are engaged more and more in service of Krishna. In due course of time, they'll all be revealed. The secret of success in understanding the intricacies of knowledge of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is the causeless mercy of the Lord. Here Krishna says in the shloka, Mad Anugrihat, means by my causeless mercy. So what does causeless means? Causeless means just like if I go to a shop and I want to buy something and I give the person 20 rupees and he gives me something that is worth 20 rupees. Then I come back and say, oh, it was his mercy. It could be his mercy, but we paid the price. Costless mercy is when we don't pay the price or we pay only like maybe 20 paisa and he gives us stuff worth 200 rupees. That is costless mercy. Even in the material world, the father of many sons discloses the secret of his position to the pet sons. The father discloses the confidence unto the son whom he thinks worthy. An important man in the social order can be known by his mercy only. Similarly, one must be very dear to the Lord in order to know the Lord. The Lord is unlimited. No one can know him completely, but one's advancement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can make one eligible to know the Lord. Here we can see that the Lord is sufficiently pleased with Brahmaji, and therefore he offers his causeless mercy to him so that Brahmaji may have the factual realization of the Lord by his mercy only. So Brahmaji, you just imagine his position, how much was revealed to him, and how he put down everything, whatever was revealed to him. That's only by mercy of Krishna. In the Vedas also it is said that the person cannot know the absolute truth, personality of Godhead simply by dint of mundane education or intellectual gymnastics. One can know the supreme truth if one has unflinching faith in the bona fide spiritual master, as well as in the Lord. Such a faithful person, even though illiterate in the mundane senses, can know the Lord automatically by the mercy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is said that the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone and he keeps himself concealed from the faithless by his Yog Maya potency. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mudo ayam na abhijananti. Mudo ayam, those who fools and rascals. I cover them by my Yog Maya and they do not know me. Of course, Muda, there were rascals who don't know Krishna and they are covered by the reflection of Yogmaya, which is Mahamaya. But Krishna, uh, so Krishna is not covered by Yogmaya, it's just intelligence, or so called intelligence of people who don't know Krishna is covered by Krishna's potency. To the faithful, the Lord reveals himself in his form, quality, and pastimes. The Lord is not formless, as wrongly conceived by the impersonalist, but his form is not like one that we have experienced. The Lord discloses his form, even to the extent of measurement, to his pure devotees, and that is the meaning of Yavam, as explained by Sri Jiva Goswami, the greatest scholar of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Lord discloses his form to his pure devotees. Ye yathamam prapadyante, tastathavya bhajami ham. So as one surrenders, more one surrenders, more the Lord's pastimes, Lord's form, Lord's names, Lord's qualities, Lord's potencies will be revealed to that person. So that's why it's funny when in some debate or some news anchor or some challenger from some university scholar or this or that, they want to know about the Lord. It's funny. Krishna himself says, I do not reveal myself to all these people. So they cannot know the Lord. Even Krishna was there in Hastinapur and Duryodhan tried to bind him. Duryodhan could not see the Lord, could not recognize the Lord. But in the same meeting or same place, Vidurji was there, Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, they realized he's Krishna himself. So if one approaches Krishna in an inimical, unfavorable way, Kansa was always thinking about Krishna, but in an unfavorable way. Shishupal was envious of Krishna, always thinking about Krishna, more than a devotee can think of Krishna, but in an unfavorable way. The Lord did not reveal himself. And a devotee, even if thinks maybe once, but with love, with a favorable way, with a mood of service, Krishna will reveal himself to that devotee. That's the love of Krishna. That's why Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsal. Dinu Vatsal means he loves his devotees. He loves the humble devotees more than anything else. He is never known as Jnani Vatsal or Karmi Vatsal or Yogi Vatsal. He doesn't love them. He is known as Bhakta Vatsal. So nobody can understand this quality of Krishna unless until one is engaged in his devotion service. The Lord discloses the transcendental nature of his existence. The mundane wranglers make mundane conceptions of the form of the Lord. It is said in the revealed scriptures, the Lord has no mundane form. Therefore, persons with a poor fund of knowledge conclude that he must be formless. They cannot distinguish between the mundane form and the spiritual form. According to them, without a mundane form, one must be formless. This conclusion is all mundane because formlessness is the opposite conception of the form. Negation of the mundane conception does not establish a transcendental fact. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord has a transcendental form and that he can utilize any one of his senses for any purpose. For example, he can eat with his eyes, he can see with his leg. A mundane conception of form. One cannot eat with one's eyes or see with his leg. That is the difference between the mundane body and the spiritual body of Sat, Chit, and Anand. A spiritual body is not formless. It's a different type of body of which we cannot conceive with our present mundane senses. Formless, therefore, means devoid of mundane form, or possessing a spiritual body of which the non-devotee can have no conception by the speculative method. So formlessness doesn't mean no form. It just means he doesn't have a mundane material form made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, because these are all his energies. He existed even before the material universe is manifested. He was existing when the material elements were unmanifested as Mahatattva. He was still there. So means his form is not made of these material elements. His form is made of Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Satchita Ananda Vigraha. So because we cannot understand, we cannot conceive of what is Satchit and Ananda, we say his form is not there. He doesn't have a form. But this is limitation of our understanding, not the limitation of Krishna's presence, Krishna's form, or Krishna's existence. The Lord discloses to the devotee his unlimited varieties of transcendental bodies, all identical with one another with different kinds of bodily features. Some of the transcendental bodies of the Lord are blackish, some of them are whitish, some of them are reddish, some are yellowish, or some are green. Some of them are four-handed and some of them are two-handed. Some of them are like fish and some are like a lion. All the different transcendental bodies of the Lord, without any differential category, are disclosed to the devotees of the Lord by the mercy of the Lord, and thus the impersonalist false arguments claiming the formlessness of the supreme truth do not appeal to the devotee, to a devotee of the Lord, even though such a devotee may not be very advanced in devotional service. So even if he is not very advanced, he is still very much attached and very much appreciates different forms of the Lord. Lord can appear as Matsya, as a fish, as a hog, as Varaha avatar, as a lion, as Nrsimha avatar. What to speak of? I mean, all these forms. He took the form of the sari of Draupadi. When Draupadi's sari became unlimited, Dushasan kept on pulling that sari of Draupadi. But he wasn't pulling Draupadi's sari, he was pulling Krishna in the form of Draupadi's sari. He could not reach the end of the sari. Krishna can appear in any form. What's so difficult for him? Devotees see this form. Devotees appreciate this form. Devotees love this form. Devotees relish the pastimes of Krishna in any form he appears. Mundaners may think, oh, devotees are sentimentalists. They don't know the logic. Devotees know the param logic, the topmost logic. The Lord can do anything, whatever he likes, to protect his devotees, to have pastimes with his devotees, which the present devotees relish and the future devotees also relish those pastimes. Lord can appear in any form, anywhere, anything for his devotees. Who can stop him? He's all powerful. He's omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. He can appear anywhere, anything, in the form of anything. When we come to the topic of churning of the ocean, churning of milk ocean to get the nectar, Lord appeared in so many forms in that pastime, one pastime, and he appeared as a female, Mohini Murti, most beautiful woman, of course, not as beautiful as Srimati Radharani. Of course, she is the most beautiful, but as beautiful as he could get. He appeared in that form. If Krishna becomes a woman, who can be more beautiful? And in that beautiful form, he just enticed all the demons. Of course, all the demigods were also attracted, but they understood it's Vishnu, so they just sat down quietly. Okay, the demons were all bewildered. Fine. The nectar was stolen from them, nectar was given to the demigods. Fine. But then Mahadev, he heard. He said, I was just given that ocean of poison to drink. Lord, you gave me that poison, but I heard that you showed a beautiful form of a woman. I want to see that form. Krishna, Lord Vishnu told him, no, Mahadev, Shivji, Shambhu, don't ask for all these things. Don't. No, my Lord, I did the service to you. You gave me the ocean of poison to drink. I did that service, and now I want to see that form. This is my heartfelt desire. I have done some service for you. Okay, Mahadev, you see that form, then I'm not responsible for whatever happens. Shivji, what can happen? And here Shivji was talking to him, and all of a sudden, Lord Vishnu disappeared. And then Shivji was sitting with Parvati actually, and then he saw a very, very beautiful lady, and she was playing with a ball, just like these ladies, girls play this tennis or basketball. And she was just playing with the ball and jumping here, and the ball was going here and there, and she was running after the ball. And Shivji saw this beautiful woman, and he forgot that he had asked Vishnu to show his uh, form as a woman. And while playing with the ball, and Prabhupada explains in one of the purports there that the main reason men like to see women play with the ball because they actually want to see their body. So she was playing with the ball, Lord Shiva, and while playing with the ball, her clothes kind of revealed some inner parts of her body. And Lord Shiva got bewildered, completely bewildered. Even though Parvati was sitting next to him, he got bewildered, and he ran after that woman. And the woman ran further away, and Lord Shiva was running after her. And just running, running, running. Although Lord Shiva is known as Dhira, he had burned Cupid in ashes, not even ashes, into nothing. And he forgot himself, seeing this beautiful form of the Lord. And then this lady, or Vishnu as a lady, that disappeared. And Lord Shiva had discharged his semen, and his semen was so powerful that Kartikeya was born from that semen. And Lord Shiva, when he understood, he realized, he came back to Parvati, and then he prayed to Vishnu. He said, actually, I'm not ashamed of whatever happened. Why? Because I was attracted by you, your form. It's all transcendental, it's all spiritual. You're my Lord. So I'm not ashamed of whatever happened. I was attracted by you. But that special relationship with Shivji and Krishna or Vishnu. But the point is, Krishna, Vishnu can come in any form they like. What's so difficult for it? And only devotees can realize. Maybe not realize right away, they can realize later, but only devotees realize that it was my Lord. But non devotees, even if Krishna himself is standing in his Tribhang Lalit, form bent at three places in front of them, playing on his flute, they will not recognize him. That's the difference. The Lord lifted the Govardhan hill when he was only 7 years old and protected his pure devotees at Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, who was overflooding the place with rain. Now, this lifting of the Govardhan hill by a 7-year-old boy may be unbelievable for the faithless, but for the devotees, it's absolutely believable. The devotee believes in the almighty potency of the Lord, while the faithless say that the Lord is almighty but do not believe it. Faithless, sometimes they say the Lord is not almighty, but sometimes they may say he is almighty, but still they don't believe it. And now we have to see within us whether we really believe Krishna can do or Krishna did all these pastimes, or we think they are the mere stories. It's a plus. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge do not know that the Lord is Lord eternally and that one cannot become the Lord by meditation for millions of years or by mental speculation for billions of years. The impersonal interpretation of the mundane wranglers is completely refuted in this verse because it is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord has his qualities, his form, pastimes, and everything that a person has. All these descriptions of the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead are factual realizations by the devotee of the Lord, and by causeless mercy of the Lord, they are revealed to his pure devotee and no one else. So I'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll start those Chatushloki Bhagavatam and let's see how deep we can go that. There are four beautiful verses. Let's see how much Krishna reveals the knowledge to us that we can realize them, we can understand them. So I'll stop here. Thank you all very much. I know it is little impersonal for me to speak like that without the presence of all the wonderful devotees of the class, but some limitations are there. So by mercy of Prabhupada and by the mercy of this technology, we can still discuss and get benefited. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.